So we picked the mobile dog grooming business. I'd honestly never thought about it before. One of my friends, I'm in nursing school, and she introduced me to the idea. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized, like, hey, this is a pretty cool thing. It's a necessary service. So during like the COVID pandemic, a lot of people stopped going out as much, as stopped taking their pets and stuff out as much. So it really benefits them for us to be able to bring the dog or bring the business to them. So I really like that the van is a moving billboard. We get a lot of calls on the van. People will see us like parked outside their neighbor's house and stuff, and it kind of piques their interest. And so um, I really like the design. I've seen other competitors' vans, and I think that ours really stands out. So one of my favorite things about the customer's reaction to our van and to the services is when they'll take pictures of their dog with the van after we give them their service, and they'll post it on social media and tag us in it. And it feels good that they're happy with the service. The first time I ever heard of mobile dog grooming, I was honestly surprised that people would pay for it. It's not a service that had ever crossed my mind as being needed. But the more that I've been in the industry and the more I've learned about the industry, it's definitely a needed service. You have people that are unable to leave their house, you have dogs that are anxious to leave their house. We have a lot of customers that just don't do well in normal salons, and so their dogs will go long periods of time without grooming if they didn't have a service like ours. So um, we've been very successful in finding customers. That was my biggest anxiety, was being able to find customers, and we've had no problem doing that. I filled my schedule my first week. When I first started the business, I didn't have a lot of experience in the dog grooming industry, so one of my biggest sources of concern was being able to find customers. I was able to hire 3 groomers right off the bat, and then I needed to find the customers, and I really leaned on Zoomin Groomin's corporate staff to kind of help guide me on advertising in the right places and getting the right customers. So during our first week of operation, I was able to fully book. We grossed $3,700 in our first week, and I spent a lot of time trying to get appointments to make sure that the groomers had their schedules fulfilled, and I was able to do that. Currently, I'm booked 2.5 weeks out, and I book about 8 to 10 appointments a day, so it's not slowing down. It's picking up. One thing I will say about being a franchisee that I really appreciate after talking to people in the industry is the support that we get from corporate, because our booking software is there, advertising is there. If I go to an apartment complex and we schedule an event, all I have to do is contact corporate, and we're able to create a beautiful graphic that the customer really likes. So I really appreciate having that level of support and that level of interaction from the company. Before I bought a franchise with Zoom and Groomin, I put a lot of research into several other businesses, and Zoom and Groomin was the one that I landed on because of the payoff versus the effort you have to put in. You still have to put in a good bit of work. I'm not saying that it's easy, but there is a big payoff. If you follow the steps that corporate gives you, it works.